we're returning to the issue of the forensics.
Yeah.
Forensic testing, Ghana's DNA profiling capability limited, lab scientist. Now that story is on page 13 of today's Daily Graphic. Now, Augustina Tewia is reporting for the Daily Graphic that although Ghana has the capability and equipment to do standard DNA profiling, in extreme cases involving highly degraded remains, the country may lack certain advanced equipment and reagents, right? Or reagents? Reagents, great. Yeah. Reagents for specialized analysis. Now, a human identification consultant and infectious disease specialist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Central, it says, if we have this advanced next generation sequencing equipment here, then we can do the test here and save Ghana time and money, and also save the whole West African region, even to North Africans, right? Laboratory doctor, it says the Dr. Augustine E. Sego mentioned one of such advanced equipment to be the next generation sequence equipment, which he explained was able to produce results with speed and highest accuracy. He said the country, however, currently lacked that type of equipment. In cases of this nature, referring to charred remains, we need the speed and the highest accuracy possible. So we need this advanced technology to help us identify the victims at a speed, because we don't have them. In some cases, we send the samples to international partner laboratories outside the country to do them, and they come at a huge cost. Dr. Sego was speaking an interview with the Daily Graphic on Ghana's capability to still do DNA testing. And yesterday, I believe, he spoke on Good Afternoon Ghana. Now, that's here on Metro TV, hosted by my very good friend and colleague. Okay. In fact, Annie is just telling me that in that interview that the gentleman actually suggested that we have a national forensic authority to deal with some of these problems. Yeah. Maybe if the authority wasn't existed, they would have insisted, because an authority, so they can borrow on their own balance sheet and so on. So they could have, procure some of these machines themselves. How did we not have this? Do you have any idea?
Bro, as for Ghana and our investment in the health sector, it's like a cancer. One government will start, another will come and stop. We don't give priorities to the health sector like we are supposed to. We have what we call Abuja Declaration that requires we spend 15% of our income into the health sector. We are hovering around 9, 10, 12, very low, until recently that at least health insurance was uncapped, and then the rest. We have problems in investing in the health sector. I would really say that it's a national problem. And these things together, we have to come and then ensure that we give proper attention to the health sector. It's not only to diagnose or identify charred bodies. DNA machines, like the type that they are requesting for, can be used to do a lot of tests, paternity tests, map out a database for a genomic database for the country, and then the rest. Relative, if you want to know whether somebody is related to you, and then the rest. We can do all those things. Who am I to doubt Mr. Sego? Mr. Sego, coincidentally, I served him in school. I served him as when I was first year in Cuba.
Okay.
He was my senior, and we've been friends since then.
Okay.
We relate a lot. I know he's very, very much interested in this. He's a very good expert when it comes to laboratory science and the rest. What I would say is that, yes, Ghana needs to rethink when it comes to health, both the human resource and then equipment and infrastructure. We are priding ourselves to be a gateway to Africa. We want to be a tourist hub. And we can perform some of the diagnosis within Ghana. if you will see some of the sophisticated laboratories that we do in Ghana, they are mainly owned by private companies. Some of them have some of the equipment outside the country, so sometimes have to fly the labs outside the country and come back. If it were to be a normal situation, government could have just taken the samples through the normal flight, DHL or whatever, send it and test and bring. But because some of the people who, our compatriots who perished in the accident, had a religious belief that their bodies need to be interred very quickly, I think that motivated the government to spend money to fly it privately. And let me say, when I say government, yes, somebody donated his plane for it.
Yeah.
It means it is money given to government, and government has spent it to go and test it and bring it. But COVID came to teach us a lesson about how we are neglecting the health sector. This disaster has also come to teach us another lesson. I think that if all governments, we had a strategic plan, a blueprint about how we want to develop the health sector to one of a standard that is internationally recognized, and implement it step by step, giving ourselves a look. In 10 years' time, we want our health sector to be at this level. Whichever government comes to power must follow that blueprint, must invest in that manner. I think we would have these things resolved. But this knee-jerk reaction we do, and we run this way, we run tomorrow, we do this, next tomorrow we do this, we need to have a blueprint. And that blueprint must be respected. And you can't just go and buy equipment and come and put them here. See, it comes along with the needed human resource. Not only the needed human resource, but even power. Some of these equipment are very sensitive to power fluctuations. We need to stabilize that.
Okay.
The people you are going to train can't just be one person. It must be a group of people so that there can be succession. In case one is ill, in case one retires, somebody takes over. Whilst we do that, we can do a lot of investigation. I tell you, in this country, we don't spend money researching. We don't spend money research. Money doesn't go into research. The small researches we do here, and is not what makes a health sector become very attractive for health tourism. No, we need to invest in the health sector, set up institutions that when you are coming for health service in Ghana as a health sick patients for health tourism, you are confident that the turnaround time would be short and everything will be done within Ghana. Then you go back. We don't have that. So to me, we would not say we are blaming, I would not blame a single person. I will blame all of us for not pushing hard, including we, the doctors, including we, the scientists, because it is how you convince the sector minister about the importance of what you want to put in the budget that they would consider it. Perhaps we are not forcing them to understand that some of these gadgets, like the DNA machine that we're requesting for, is very vital for so many things. But that is not, we shouldn't throw our hands in the air. There's some good news. Just yesterday, France 24 published that Ghana has built the first, African first genetic database.
What is that?
It means that a database to code the genetic tree of Africa. You know, all the genetic database we have in the world are on whites.
Okay.
But Ghana has so far successfully, with the lower grade machine that he was referring to, has successfully built African first genetic database. That database can help us to know if you have this type of gene, which diseases are you prone to? Can you develop this type of cancer? So when they test you and you fall within any of the markers of a particular gene, you can say that, oh, you, Mr. X, you can develop perhaps colon cancer. No, you can develop bone cancer. No,
and so that would then inform lifestyle choices.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a very interesting revelation.
Yes.
So yesterday, Annie started an exercise, a very useful one indeed.
Yeah.
And it was actually what I'm continuing with, because I talked about the fact that we need to start asking what I call the critical, the big questions, the tough questions, the hard questions, and so on. She started yesterday, I'm already continuing. What for you, since this incident happened, have you been thinking about in terms of what questions have you been asking yourself? Of course, on the spiritual side of things, a Muslim, you're Christian. As Muslims, we say, "Inna de lie, we na lie," that to him we come from, to him we definitely will go back. But in the physical realm of things, what have you been thinking of?
I said after I read about the pedigree of the pilots, I then asked myself, this definitely couldn't have been perhaps fault of inexperience.
So what it means is that initially,
Yes.
you were thinking, was the pilot experience enough?
Yes, yeah. But after reading about his background, their background, even his co-pilot and the rest, I realized that there were people who understood the spatial movement. Then came my doubt, my questioning about what I heard from the ground, that everything, even including the framework of the helicopter, was turned into ashes, and that everything was just ash. Then I asked myself, what could have caused a metal to just degrade into ash, just like that? Because at least when a metal is heated to a temperature of 2,800 degrees Celsius, it turns into a mold. Before it can turn into ash, you need a temperature of 3,700 and something. Was that temperature up to that? And if it was up to that, like I said previously, then may their souls really find space in heaven. Because I know flight combustion is very flammable, but that doubts come to me. Was it that very hot in the natural atmospheric pressure to have that amount of heat to turn it into that? That is my worry. So I said, okay, let's just allow for a proper research. Then told myself, in any country that this happens, there is something will come out to explain. There's always something to come out. Good luck. The black box has been found. Definitely, there may be voices they may hear, what happened before. Even the story that it tried to land 2-3 times before it went to crash. All those things definitely will be discovered in the black box. And then I also think that I didn't need to speculate too much. My only worry was that the metals themselves turned into ashes.
Yeah.
That was my main. And that fragments were several meters far away from where the incident happened. What might have caused it? Because if it crashed on the ground, and it should spread within some perimeter frame area.
Yeah.
Instead of that distance, some people were explaining more than 200 meters, 300 meters, and all that were bringing doubts to me. Was it something that exploded inside in the air before it lands? Because if it explodes in the air, yes, it will scatter very far. But if it explodes on the ground where the forest is thick, the shrubs and then the trees around might protect particles from getting that far. That was my thought. So I had that thought. But all the same, I'm happy we have a good team, a forensic team here to do the investigations. And as we've said, we've already contaminated the place.
Crash site.
Right? People rushing there, doing all what they wanted to do.
Somebody even took a watch.
Yes.
That's
So you see, it would make the investigation a little bit difficult. It will make it a little bit difficult. So I would urge that anytime something like this happens, like abroad, we see they'll go and cordon the place. The military or the police will get there first and cordon the place and prevent anybody from entering. Even some of the pictures we saw, we wouldn't have seen it. Next time, we have to actually hold ourselves not to be filming those things.